told you that. We patrol and load them gas. Sound like that know you clap. Polar cap the jewelry. Who is he? The right grinder. I flip China white. My dish is white China. From China, seen China. Gator party pill. Chick strip. Now we clicking like Darby Hill. The Wizard of Oz. I'm the Wizard
What is
of
up, guys?
Oz.
Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. This is the fourth sample shopping episode in this haul from discontinued.com. Discontinued.com is the best place online to get samples from, or decants, niche fragrances, designer fragrances, discontinued fragrances, rare, hard to find fragrances, vintage fragrances. It's just a great place, and it sort of, in my estimation, beats out the other two really big decant shops online because it's cheaper, it's faster. You get what you paid for. In other words, these are measured out. These your fragrances are measured out before they're poured into a bottle. Other fragrance decant sites don't do that, and again, the price is just way below competitors. And I have a special discount code exclusively for my audience, which is MAX12, where you will save 12% off your order at checkout. So, as if it's not cheap enough already, you get that extra 12%. So check out decantshop.com. Let me know what you think. And there are constantly fragrances being added to the website, so there's always new and rare stuff. Definitely check it out. And as I said, this is the fourth installment from this last batch that Decant Shop sent me. But actually, there are going to be two more. So we will have a part 5 and 6 before we take a 1 or 2 week sabbatical from fragrance shopping, which I'm going to do a couple of grooming videos, or 1 or 2, and then we'll be right back. But the reason there are 2 more this time is because I bought a bottle of antidote from Decant Shop, and the owner Adriana sent me some samples with it to add a couple of extra shows. So we'll have 2 more after this one. This is 4, 5, and 6 will be over the next 2 weeks. The first fragrance we're going to look at today is a vintage formulation of a designer scent, and this is called Versace Long. Now, I don't know when this was reformulated. I do know that a newer bottle of this was opened at TJ Maxx. I was at about 6 months ago when I got my nose on it. Didn't really impress me. It smelled like a typical 80s powerhouse fragrance. Lots of notes and a bit schizophrenic. It's a 1986 creation, and notes on this are lemon, petit grain, basil, and pimento at top, cinnamon, cedar, patchouli, sandalwood, and rose in the middle, and a base made of oak moss, leather, labdanum, tonka, and vanilla. Now, my guess would be that the vintage version has more oak moss, and that the newer version either has very little or no oak moss, which is evidently a note that a lot of houses have been asked to remove from their older formulations due to a small segment of the population that has allergy issues. Now, if you go on Fragrantica, you'll see a bunch of people saying the vintage is pretty similar to the new version, but it's got more depth to it, and it punches harder. Now, when I first smelled this, I sort of thought, okay, no big deal, another big 80s fragrance, but this is different. This is of a higher quality than something like Giorgio or Comme. This is a beautiful, very powerful 80s bomb, and you really get leather and vanilla with this fragrance. It's right at the top, but there's also a beautiful, like, lemon and basil thing as well. Would I buy this? Probably not. I feel like I already have a decent selection of 80s fragrances, and this one, to me at least, isn't different enough for me to invest in a full bottle, but I was pleasantly surprised by this, and you might want to check it out if you're a fan of those sorts of fragrances. Next up, we've got a fragrance from a niche house that I had never heard of. It's called Ineke. Adriana, the owner of Decant Shop, thought that I might like this one, so she sent me this fragrance, and this one is called Field Notes from Paris. Now, Ineke is an indie fragrance house. It's U.S. Based, and it started by a woman named Ineke Ruland, who was a Canadian woman who lives in San Francisco, and they currently have 13 fragrances in their library. This one, Field Notes in Paris, retails for $95 for a 75 ml. You can buy it from the Ineke website, or of course get a sample from decantshop.com. This scent is meant to evoke the aroma of the perfumer's days while studying perfumery in Paris, sitting in a cafe, writing notes while drinking a cafe creme. Notes on this fragrance are orange blossom, lemon, and coriander in the top, tobacco blossom, patchouli, and cedar in the middle, and tonka, benzoin, and vanilla in the base. Now, this is an EDP formulation, and to me, this is an excellent fragrance. it sort of smells like a cross between like a classic fougere mixed with a gourmand. You've got cocoa and vanilla. It's sweet but not too sweet, sort of just right for a fragrance like this. Very much unisex. The tobacco that is listed here is pretty light, but I definitely get it a little bit. I was about to put this on my buy list, but I haven't really gotten great projection or longevity from this so far, so I need more time with it before I decide whether it's bottle worthy for me. But it is indeed very promising, and I really enjoy the smell of this one, so bravo to Ineke. We have another Comme des Garcons scent up next. I'm certainly trying with this house, and no one can accuse me of otherwise. This one is called Guerrilla II, and it is from the Guerilla series, which was inspired by shops that Comme des Garcons set up in sort of off-beaten-path locations in cities around the world, and these were inspired by pop-up shops. This one, number 2, was created by Parfumé Natalie Feisthauer, and it was the nose for this scent. And the inspiration for this scent was the color red. It retails $130 for 85 ml. Top notes are bergamot, pink pepper, and ginger. In the middle, you've got red pepper, curcuma, raspberry, and tuberose. And in the base, you've got vetiver, cedarwood, and musk. Now, I don't dislike this scent. I'm smelling it now, but I don't like it either. What this smells like to me is very bizarre. I get sort of spicy red pepper, almost like Tabasco, with tuberose and raspberry. And I like raspberry. I just don't know about this. I'm not abandoning my search to find a Comme des Garcons scent that I like. I think that I might enjoy this more if I was a woman, because I think it's sort of got a feminine, sort of an edgy feminine scent. I don't know that it's my thing. But regardless of that, I really enjoy all the Comme des Garcons because they're all very different, and I feel like I pick up something or learn something new every time I smell one of them. So I want to keep sampling them in these episodes. I'm going to go through some more. I just don't know about this one. I don't want to say I don't want to buy it yet, because there's something about it that sort of draws me in. It's sort of got a nice soapiness to it. I don't know. It's interesting. Let's just leave it at that for now. Now, last up for today, we have a fragrance I was really excited to try, and it is called Eau de Cologne by Hermes. Now, not the orange vert, this one is not available anymore. This is the original Hermes Eau de Cologne that was released prior to the Jean-Claude era, Elena. That era seems to be wrapping itself up now, by the way, and it looks like Christine Nagel era will soon begin at Hermes, but we'll talk more about that in another video when I review another Hermes scent. Regardless, though, Eau de Cologne was introduced in 1979 by Parfumé Francois Caron. Now, what happened is this was later turned into Orange Vert and repackaged, but this is the original version, and I was told that you can see influences in a lot of their current Eau de Cologne offerings in this scent. So I'm very excited to give this one a try. Notes on it are basil, bergamot, coriander, mandarin, mango, mint, papaya, and lemon at the top. In the middle, we've got honeysuckle, lavender, lily of the valley, neroli, orange leaf, and rosemary. And in the base, we've got oak musk, patchouli, sandalwood, and cedar. And this is really nice and fresh, but I can see why Hermes scrapped this and turned it into Orange Vert. This doesn't really have an identity. It's a very nice traditional Eau de Cologne, but to me it's just far too light. I don't get any projection or longevity with this. It's just pretty boring. Again, it's nice. It's nice and fresh, but the fragrances that Jean-Claude Elena has done in the Eau de Cologne line for Hermes are just very vibrant. They're peppy. They're sort of like sparkly, and they're just much better than this, I think. This feels a bit lifeless and too muted and too safe. And I actually am going to be collecting the Hermes Eau de Colognes. The only one I don't plan on owning is Gentil Blanche, and this reminds me of that. So maybe that's why I don't like it. I think Orange Vert is far superior. I think Pamplemousse Rose is far superior, and of course I think Mandarin and Brie is far superior. The only one I don't really love besides this is the one that was introduced with Mandarin and Brie. It's called Narcissa Blue, and I don't love that one. I don't love this one either. So if I was going to rank these, which I do, Ineke is definitely number one. Not even close. That's far and away. I think for two, I think I'm going to go with the Comme des Garcons for number 2, honestly. And then for 3, I'm going to go with the Hermes. And for 4, I'm going to go with the Versace. I'm just not an 80s scent guy, I think. I think I like that 90s era much better. I just think I have more sort of in common with the 90s era. It's just more my style. And there are some 80s fragrances that I like. Don't get it twisted, but this isn't one of them. And most of the cheaper ones aren't really either. But interesting to try nonetheless. I love smelling vintage scents and in the discontinued scents, and you could see very clearly, that she labels her bottles just beautifully. Hermes Eau de Cologne vintage, and then for the Versace one, it's also Versace Long vintage. So I love the way she labels the fragrances. These also have very good atomizers. See if I can show you. Just a great place, guys. Please, please, please spend your fragrance money at Decant Shop. It is very stupid to buy expensive fragrances without giving them some serious testing. And so I advise you to really do that and pick up Decant Shop fragrances. And again, you are more than welcome to email me at maxmno@gmail.com or Adriana at Decant Shop to ask questions about fragrances and to get recommendations. If you want to get like a starter pack of niche, or Adriana can recommend you 5 fragrances to start out with. Or if you want to do like a little discontinued or vintage smelling flight where you smell 4 or 5 of them, have a get together with your friends and go through a bunch of fragrances, we're more than happy to help you with that. The only thing I ask, guys, is because Google has now linked with Plus, YouTube is now linked to Google Plus. Sometimes it's very hard to reply to messages. Sometimes I don't see them. So if you have a question that you really want me to answer, just email me at maxmno@gmail.com. I've gotten a bunch of emails. I've never not responded to an email. So I will always do that. I will always just try to help you guys out. And remember, for fragrance advice, Decant Shop is a reference as well. Both of us are more than happy to help you with your questions and give suggestions. Anyway, I want to thank you all so much for watching. There will be a fragrance review this weekend and then 2 episodes next week. That is how we always do. Decantshop.com, coupon code MAX12. I'm Maximilian.
It's me again. It's me again. Everybody get scared.